Dear students of class 8, welcome to you all. I like to discuss today a new topic, ruling the countryside, chapter 3rd. In the beginning of the chapter, we see what was the rural setup in the ancient and medieval period. The village setup, village land revenue system that was underwent thorough changes during the British period. So we see that in the ancient and medieval period, the peasants were given a piece of land and they cultivated it and enjoyed the property right. And they could thus manage their own livelihood. That was self-sufficient village economy. And we see that almost all the rulers of medieval period, Akbar introduced the land revenue system. We see that the Sher Shah introduced the land revenue reforms. We see that he measured the lands and collected the taxes according to the fertility of the soil. He also gave the ownership right to the peasants. It was known as patta and kabuliyat. Patta, kabuliyat was, in return, the peasants agreed to pay taxes to the state. It was on the basis of fertility of the soil. Similarly, I may mention here that we see that gradually this system continued for a long time. Even there was a drought and famine, the revenue demand was reduced, and if necessary the situation was worse, very worse, the peasants were exempted from paying taxes. That was the condition, revenue condition, system of taxation continued till the medieval period. But when the British came, a lot of changes introduced in the collection of revenue. Previously, revenue was paid by the peasants in the form of cash, in the form of kind, that is crops. And now the British introduced the system of collecting the revenue in the form of cash, in lieu of kind. And they also, another change, forced the villagers to cultivate cash crops. What was cash crops? Like the indigo, jute, we see that and coffee and many other, which was very profitable. We see that at that time opium, indigo and jute, this type of, however, particularly indigo and opium was introduced this was a very profitable business, and commercial type of cultivation or cash crops were introduced. They often forced the villagers to cultivate the cash crops. And thus, what was the result of it? The village economy was completely destroyed, the self-sufficient village economy was completely destroyed. And the main purpose of the British East India Company was maximizing the revenue and also profit. That was the sole purpose. Now British, naturally, as a result of the British taxation system or revenue system, the peasants became landless. Peasants, the self-sufficient village economy was destroyed. Now the peasants also left their villages, and thus they became landless or jobless. The land revenue settlements. You see that the land revenue, different types of land revenue settlements were introduced. Particularly, I can start from Ijaradari system. But before I see that in the beginning, I may mention here that in 1765, Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II granted the British Robert Clive the Diwani right. What was the Diwani right? The right to collect taxes or revenue from Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. And that made the British enormous, very powerful economically, and they could collect the revenue from Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, and thus the British power became very, however, it was actually the company officials amassed so much wealth personally that it harmed the interest of the East India Company. Naturally, the new governor, first governor of Bengal, Warren Hastings, who came, he wanted to introduce some revenue settlements, and one of them was Ijaradari system. It was introduced in 1772, and now it was actually introduced for, this Ijaradari system was introduced for 5 years. What was the system? The right to collection was given, collection of revenue was given to the highest bidder. When land was auctioned and it was a revenue farmer or bidder collected it. It was introduced for 5 years. Now this system was a failure because the bidding had no link with the lands. The bidder or bidding had no link with the lands and actual productivity. No interest was shown by the bidders or revenue farmers in improving the land because it was auctioned periodically. The land was auctioned periodically. When this system failed, then it is known as 5-year settlement. Then 1 year settlement was introduced. 1 year settlement. However, land was auctioned periodically. Naturally, the revenue farmers had no interest in improving the condition of the peasants or development for the land. Now, we see that after the failure of the Ijaradari system, which was introduced by Warren Hastings, we see that another system was introduced, that is called permanent settlement. It was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793 in Bengal. It was also known as Jamindari settlement. And we see that what was the purpose was that Jamindar would be the actual proprietor of the land as long as they could pay the revenue. We know that Jamindars were told or given the power to collect 89% revenue which was paid to the British. Rest of the revenue they could keep with them. And we see that thus what was the result? A new group of, you see that the class, loyal class or Jamindari class was created by the British, who would support the British administration, who would be very loyal to the British. And what happened as a result of it? The many wastelands, or you see that they were turned into cultivable land. The peasants, when the Jamindars became the real master of the land, and you see that they oppressed the peasants in order to collect more and more revenue, and thus the peasants became landless. This is how it also led to the development of miserable condition of the peasants. Now we see that now afterwards I can say the Rayatari settlement. Rayatari, however, one important thing is that about the permanent settlement, it also ensured a permanent flow of income to the East India Company. When it was introduced, it ensured a permanent flow of income to the revenue, to the British, revenue, and that is the most important thing. However, the most is that the class which was actually exploited and suffered was the peasant community. Now, Rayatari settlement. It was introduced in 1820 in the Madras Presidency by Thomas Munro. It was also known as Munro Settlement. It continued up to 27 and later it spread to entire South India. However, it was a direct settlement between the East India Company and the peasant community. There is no intermediaries. The settlement was made directly with the peasants. Now, what was the result of it? We see that the rate of revenue was very high. The peasants were unable to pay the revenue. And naturally, in order to pay the revenue, they had to take loan or borrow money from the moneylenders. And moneylenders often oppress them. It is in this way and thus they become also landless. Peasants were tortured. So, this system also did not work well. Next we see the Mahalwari settlement, meaning village wise settlement. Mahal means village and we must remember Rayat means peasant. That is called Rayatwari. Rayat means peasants, Mahal means village. It is village wise settlement. Introduced in 1822 by Holt Mackenzie. It was introduced in the region like Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab. And what was the settlement? It was we said that village headman, after you see that the assessment of the revenue, according to the local you see that the customs, the village headman was given the responsibility to collect the revenue on behalf of and they collected the revenue on behalf of the British, and this is the system. But however, the village headman became very oppressive and they tortured the peasants. However, we see that this system did not work well and peasants also suffered in the hands of village headman, and agrarian riot also occurred or organized by the peasants against the moneylenders. We see that similarly, what was the impact of the British Land Revenue Administration? All the permanent settlement, Mahalwari and Rayatwari, what was the impact of it? The impact was that the land, you see that self-sufficient village economy was completely destroyed. It completely destroyed the self-sufficient Indian village economy, which was existed since ancient or medieval time, during medieval time. Now agriculture became a commodity. You see that the land became a commodity that could be sold or purchased. Land became a commodity that could be sold or purchased. Sometimes the peasants were forced to sell the land due to the high revenue imposed on them. And you see that what had they happened after the selling the land, they became a laborer, and they had to they worked in the, you see that there is a beggar, a bonded labor, and in order to pay the taxes. Now agriculture became a stagnant occupation. There is no improvement in agriculture. Previously agriculture was, you see that the peasants was very benefited through the cultivation of crops. Now the peasants ultimately realized there is no improved development in agriculture. Naturally, they left the occupation and migrated from villages, and also they became landless laborer or landless. So there is no development in agriculture. And now we see that the productivity of land declined as a result of cash crops. We know that gradually the British showed interest in the production of cash crops, and we all know that when indigo was produced in a particular cultivable land, the fertility of the land decreased. So in this way, you see that the productivity of the land declined as a result of the commercial crops or cash crops, cultivation of cash crops. Thus we see ultimately these are the impacts on our agrarian economy, or you see that the village economy of India as a result of the introduction of British land revenue settlements. Thank you.